Hi, good morning. I am here live from the Salt Lake City Airport as I prepare for a day of travel. The holiday season's upon us. It occurred to me some of you may not know how to best care for your body while you're taking a day of travel, whether it's in an airplane, in a car, on a train, on a boat, cruises. I hear a lot of fun travel options coming up in the next few months. Now, I always have my ball with me. Later on, as I get on the airplane, I'm going to spend some time while I travel with that up in my mid-back area. Airline seats tend to push me forward. It tends to shove my head forward. I end up with neck pain, a headache usually by the end of the day. I do like to have this rather than the slump position. It puts me a bit more upright. I will also eventually put the ball low down behind my sacrum. It helps me keep that mobility in my pelvis. I'll spend some time with it under one hip. It lifts the hip, helps it stay mobile. Under the other hip, lifts that hip, helps it stay mobile. And then under any legs while I travel, I'm constantly moving it. Now, I hope you caught that. The guy was talking, but just follow the ball. Under legs, under hip, behind sacrum, upper back. I always travel with a ball. Some other things I do as I get ready for travel, I have to have some movement for myself. I know I'm going to be sitting for several hours, so I find a quiet corner, a quiet place in the airport where I can do some self-care. It's not necessarily myofascial release, although I might turn it into that as I find some areas that just need some movement. Now, if you look around the airport as you're here, you'll probably notice most everyone waiting for a flight is just sitting. I know I'm already going to be sitting for several hours. I don't want to do that for the half hour or the 90 minutes before I get on the flight to begin with. I prefer movement. Now, I do know a lot of people don't like sitting on the floor, especially in public places. Do what you can with that. You can actually do some of this movement while seated in a chair that might feel a bit cleaner to you. The key is to actually move before you go sit for a long period of time. Now, I'll talk you through some of these things as I turn away, as we have announcements. You might not hear very well, but again, the key is movement. See where your body is a bit stiff as you've gotten up early. I got up early. As you got through TSA or pre-check or any of the security lines clear, all of that tends to kind of ratchet up my stress level a bit. I love this portion of travel when I can slow my breathing, come back into my body, bring all my awareness here, and get ready for the day. So I do tend to like to start in side bent sitting. It helps me explore where my hips are or are not already moving. From that side bent position, I might just rock back and forth just a little bit. Again, for me, pre-travel, it's a lot about mobility. It's not necessarily myofascial release, although I will turn it into that. But I want to just explore movement. Where's this hip move? Where's it not move? I know it's going to be in one position, again, for several hours. Eventually, I will add a twist. Now, as I add this twist, I will turn all the way away. I want a good rotation through my spine, and then I'll stay there for a few minutes as I feel all of this open up. Again, slowing my breathing, quieting my mind, watching the sun come up this morning. I can feel this opening through the inside of my leg. I can feel the rotation in my low back. Just mobilizing everything before I sit and immobilize it. might add some movement
The Salt
again
Lake City Airport is smoke-free.
in this
Individuals
rotation.
wishing to smoke must exit the airport and go to a designated smoking area, curbside. Thank you.
I can feel my left SI joint that tends to get a bit stuck with long-term sitting. I can feel that starting to mobilize as I've got this rotation, and just moving my hip here, I can feel that SI joint starting to shift a bit, which feels good. I'll come out of that twist, move the other direction in side bent sitting. I first want to test some of that motion, just seeing where this hip again moves or doesn't move. My goal at the end of a flight is to not have a headache. My goal at the end of a flight is to not be stiff and achy as much as possible. I like the land, feeling good. After I've tested a bit of that movement, I will turn it into a twist. I try and keep my spine nice and tall. I'll let my head follow. I will start to feel that open through the front of this hip, start to rotate through my spine, almost like I'm wringing it out. Again, it feels good. A lot of times I can pull myself into a bit deeper rotation. Again, I feel this open through the front of my hip. Slow, deep breathing. Letting this get my body a bit more fluid, a bit more open, a bit more mobile. Again, in this side bent position, just testing movement of the hip there. Not quite the same as the left side, but again, letting it feel good to move. You can feel that increasing mobility in my left SI joint as I move the right, all the way through my low back as I move the right. Some good mobility through this whole pelvic area. So just to recap, I've spent some time this morning pre-travel getting my body ready to have a good flight. I've spent some time in side bent sitting with some rotational releases, some hip movement exploration, flipped my legs around the other direction, side bent again with some rotation, some hip movement. Later on as I get on the plane, I will use my ball behind my upper back, behind my sacrum, under hips, under legs. I do want to keep my body mobile as much as possible when I'm kind of stuck in that position or just squished this way, trying not to touch someone on either side of me. So, hope that helps. Some fun travel tips from the Salt Lake City Airport this morning as we head into the travel season. Wishing you all safe and happy travels, happy holidays. We'll see you next time.